Retirement.
Call the meeting to order. Mr. Gates,
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First up, we approve our agenda. Motion by Weed, second by Dinger. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time, we'll open the meeting up for any public comment. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
I live on the Beef Plant Road. It is a total freaking mess. Soupy holes everywhere. Trucks are going down your Trucks Park Road on Roosevelt. I've called the deputies, nobody shows up. Talked to the city, nobody shows up. They're wrecking the roads. I want to know what's going to be done about it.
We will take your comments and visit with the highway department and see what we can do to remedy that.
I visited with Dirk a lot
Okay.
already.
What's the trucks barred? They can't answer questions, but I can ask you a couple.
Okay.
Where's the trucks barred area?
Roosevelt. There's 3 signs on Roosevelt that were put up after I talked to you last time.
Oh, yep.
Well, the thing of it is, they can't see it until they're too late when they're coming from the east on Melgar.
Okay.
And the one trucker one day, I stopped him, and I said, what are you doing? Can't you read the sign? Well, ma'am, this is what my GPS tells me. I'm going to the beef plant. You need to have a sign on Melgar. They can't see it.
So the trucks barred that's on there now is tied to the road condition, okay?
Right.
And it's a just hear me out for a minute.
Okay.
It's a different law, okay? It's like
Yes.
a temporary, quickie big
Right.
deal. If we're gonna do a permanent thing there, we have to go, pass a different law if that's what we end up, that we're gonna do. I can't do a lot with the road condition today. As you know, we've tried different witchcrafts down there over the years and different things. And also, I agree with your assessment of the current condition of the road. You weren't embellishing it or anything. That's pretty
It's
accurate.
soup.
It's pretty bad. So I don't have a good thing for the immediate, solution like today. There's nothing we can do till it dries up a little bit. We could try different material, and we have about a 35-year plan to try to put that road all the way back into a real road again, which, like I said, we've tried a couple things a couple times, limited success, and not very weather resistant, But, so I can stand here and tell you that kind of stuff for a while, but I can have a discussion with them. Automatically regulating trucks isn't always our first choice of stuff because of the commerce end of it. But I want you to know that you're not, and she's talked to me about it, and it doesn't surprise me that she ended up here with the comments. To completely do something down there that's gonna legitimately, permanently fix it, we gotta do more than what, throwing gravel here and there and trying chemical and a few of the other things. So I'll have a conversation with them and try to get a plan moving, something reasonable moving forward. I don't know what that is, but exactly, or what the end would be. In a perfect world, we put concrete all the way around it, we'd be done with it, but, then that's gonna encourage more trucks to come that way, and I don't know if the road was okay, if the truck traffic would be as much of a problem. I don't know
The infrastructure is not keeping up with
what the trucks
building.
are doing.
It's the only road within mile of city limits that is not paved. I don't understand why not, but,
Yeah.
and the deputies need to patrol, because the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, obviously they can't read.
Because we put that down not too long
Last
ago.
September.
Yeah. Well, we can, like I said, I mean, I know it sounds like lip service, but I will talk to them about if we wanna direct where the trucks go. And I can talk to my guys, we can try some different material or something in the short term. And I don't know what the appetite is for long term, for it to be paved, you know?
I invite you all to drive after you get done today.
It's bad.
Go
She's not
south of the
lying.
high school and all the way over to Warner Road.
Thank you for your comments, thank you for coming in. Anyone else have anything they'd like to visit about? Online, on the phone? Again, thank you for coming in. Seeing none, we will move on. Next up, Kelsey Binger, State's Attorney Grant Program. Good morning, Kelsey.
Morning. All right, so I come today with the two grants that I have applied for the last number of years. The first one being for the court resource home. So this will be the 4th year of grant applications for a court resource home. Now more than ever, we are in dire need of having alternatives to secure detention for our kids. Just last year, we had 61 of our risk assessment instruments that were conducted by law enforcement that were overrode into secure detention when they should have been, or per the instrument, should have been held elsewhere. So this idea is to license a foster family to have these kids in their home short term, so they're not being unnecessarily held in our detention center. We have recruited 3 families to be our court resource homes. Unfortunately, none of them have made it to the point of licensure. So this is the 4th year of the grant to hopefully finally find and license our court resource homes.
All right. Thank you for your efforts on, again, securing a grant, or applying for a grant. At this point, I would entertain a motion to authorize signature of that grant application.
Move.
Motion by Denner, second by Gage.
Ken, one quick thing.
You bet.
In case they put it in the paper, maybe state that if anybody happens to be interested in this position, to please feel free to reach out to the county or
February
county.
2.
Yeah.
It's a maximum of 7 days of, yep. But we expect it'll be between 24 and 48 hours, almost every time. And there's a stipend for even being on call. Pretty good incentive.
Okay.
And for a recruitment.
Sure.
We're really trying to sell it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And then the second grant is the Reducing Racial and Ethnic Disparities Grant. This will be the 3rd year of this grant application. This was started out with an idea of running a diversion program like one out in Rapid City. Through conversations here, we identified that we needed a place, a gathering place for this diversion to take place at. And so in November of 2024, we had the grand opening of Wotakie Oyate, the Kinship Center, in the basement of the St. Mark's Episcopal Church. And then starting in March, we started diverting families and cases through that program. So right now, there's currently different activities that are taking place there. And the Council for Juvenile Services, which funds these grants, or is the right, yeah, that the grants trickle down from, will be hosting their annual meeting in Aberdeen on June 12th, and we are excited to be having a tour, and we have some kids that will be serving lunch, fry bread tacos, to the council members to see the project in action, I guess. So that is the second grant that I'm here for today.
Very good. I would entertain a motion to approve that grant application.
Move.
Motion by Gage. Second. Second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Next up, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, with a few items here.
First thing on there is right away for Northern Electric, right?
Correct.
Yes.
It's, no, don't get those. It's right there.
Get voting in there.
Oh.
They're just boring under the road. to take service to the other side. I don't have any problem with it. Looks like I would recommend it for approval.
Move. Motion by Denner,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The next thing under the bridge.
Bid opening for Sand Lake Bridge project. Been a few years in the works.
Yeah.
Point view.
The first meeting I had on this was when my 23-year-old's first birthday. And then there was something with the way it was inspected, that it went from being eligible to not being eligible. So that pushed it back, like, right off the bat. Of course, COVID was a problem, believe it or not, trying to communicate with the refuge and then some other landowners. So I'm just thankful that we got this far, and I'm a little stunned that we needed this many chairs in here today. That's a good deal. So thank you all for putting in a bid. All right?
Okay, without further ado. Do we need to read the title? I was gonna say, you gotta do that first.
You want me to, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's in under the whole.
Sorry. There you go.
All right, this is for our bridge. Sealed bids will be received by Brown County Auditor at 25 Market Street, Aberdeen, South Dakota 57401 until 8:45 local time on Tuesday, 20th of May for the above referenced project. Bids shall be prepared and submitted in accordance with the bidding documents. Brown County reserves the right to accept or reject any and/or all bids as set forth in the bidding documents. Bids will be publicly opened and read aloud at or shortly after the above-named time. Bids will be reviewed by the Brown County Commission at a subsequent meeting of the Brown County Commissioners. Project includes removal of existing 249-foot 5-span steel girder bridge, installation of proposed 242-foot 3-span pre-stressed concrete girder bridge, and additional items as set forth in the contract documents. Each bid will be accompanied by bid security as described by the documents. A successful bidder will be required to provide payment and performance bonds as described in the bidding documents. All right. One comment about, and for the bidders in here, the process, and I don't know if some of you are familiar with it, some of you aren't. This is the first one that we've done through this bridge funding program. So what happens is, we open the bids, and we'll award one, and then we have to send it to the DOT, and they have to bless it as well, okay? So my first question, it doesn't cause anybody any timing issues if we don't award this till next week, does it? You're not gaining a lot if we award it later today, really? No. Okay. So what I intend to do is we'll read them, record them today, and then Mike can, you won't have to rush and do it like we normally make you do,
Okay.
so you earn your money. But, we'll read them, record them, we'll defer to next week to award it, and then in the meantime, we'll get our ducks in a row, so as soon as it's awarded, we can send everything to the DOT, and then we can actually borrow 75% of the, well, not borrow, we can access 75% of the, grant money, if that's the case. Okay, so, all right, let's...
Sounds good. Alrighty. We have a bid from Industrial Builders.
You guys are gonna be sorry you came early, aren't you?
This is great for us. Fargo, North Dakota.
Mike and make him more comfortable.
That's right. Good luck. Ask me awkward questions.
I'm still trying to figure out what Feldheim's doing in here. When's the other shoe to drop? You know, you're just another crabby taxpayer now, right?
I haven't said a word.
Okay.
Just keep it up, though.
See, keep begging him on, he'll come up with something.
From Industrial Builders, we have a bid in the amount of $6,486,900.10.
You got it under control over there, okay?
Let's see. Hopefully the knife doesn't slip. SFC Civil Constructors, Journey Group from Sioux Falls submitted a bid.
see shortly.
If you need a little sharper knife.
Gotta be careful, those dull knives. Okay, so from Journey Group, DBA Sioux Falls SFC Civil, we have a bid in the amount of $3,731,109.40. Next bid, KEA Constructors of Milford, Nebraska.
Where's Milford again? What's it now? About 20 miles west of Lincoln.
It's in Nebraska.
Not for everybody.
Tornado Alley. We'll get there eventually. Trying to build up drama here. Is it working?
And drum roll. I thought some nice background elevator music while you're messing with that. It would be nice, you know? Little girl from Encanina.
So from KEA Constructors, we have a bid in the amount of $5,221,290.35. Getting impatient with myself.
Well,
Thank you.
maybe I should do something.
You're fine. R.R. Schroeder Construction, Glenwood, Minnesota.
These guys have done a couple of our bridges already.
You said Glenwood?
Yeah.
Yep. R.R. Schroeder Construction, Inc. has provided a bid in the amount of $3,379,000.45. Thank you, sir, appreciate it. Now, Prom Construction, or Pram, I never know how to say that, Slayton, Minnesota.
Who are you with?
Okay. Well, simply,
Which Pram Auto?
Slayton, Minnesota. Yeah.
They bid on our Elm Lake Bridge that first time.
And they're doing ours. Tenth
They're
Avenue.
doing our
They're doing the 10th,
Avenue
yeah.
Bridge, and they did our Third Avenue Bridge 4 years ago.
Is the 10th one going okay?
It was great until it started raining.
Yeah. Our patching fell off a little bit as well.
Just a smidge.
So a bid from Pram Construction, a bid in the amount of $3,037,891.10.
So it's 3037891?
Yeah, let me verify. 303-7891.10. General Excavating from Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Go Huskers.
Okay. I will, comment. Huskers been having a tough go. So from General Excavating, we have a bid in the amount of $4,512,526.90. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
All right. That's it, that's all.
We only got 6 bidders?
I said 6 to 8.
That's a lot of bids.
Holy cow. I'd like to recommend we defer so we can review them for a week here and visit with Mike and visit with the DOT and award them next Tuesday.
Move.
Second. Motion by Weiss, second by Dinger to defer decision on the bridge till next week. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And a giant thank you to all you bidders. Remember, we're up here, come again if this one didn't work out for you, but holy cow, I appreciate it very much. So
Thank you, bidders.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you, everybody.
Wow. Okay. That in there too.
See if they wanna do two for the price of two on that Elk Bridge.
Sioux Falls. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
See you, Mike. Good.
If you wanna start cranking out copies of them, all you need is the big tabs and
Okay.
you know what I mean, just the numbers. Okay. Please, thank you.
True.
All right. Well, that was positive.
You bet.
Indeed. One didn't even lower than
Yeah.
some good numbers.
Yeah, that's always encouraging, we have one less than the engineer's estimate.
Just in time to work on the 26 budget. Perfect. What do I have department?
Intergovernmental agreement.
Oh,
With our friends at the city.
so, have all of you guys seen this now?
Yes. Yes.
I just want to point out a few of the specific details, and I might be oversimplifying it, but I have to keep things on my level. It's kind of in a sense, it's like we're all 50/50 until certain, outside of conditions that are listed in here, okay? So, there's two triggers, and Robin, please pop in if I'm doing a poor job, or Stu, or whomever. There's one with the area getting annexed, and then there's a threshold with traffic count. So, example, if they annexed a small piece along there that didn't trigger the agreement, based on how much of that, but all of a sudden they built a Stanley hammer factory and 4,000 houses that all came out that one approach, well, then the traffic count, correct? The traffic count up to 25%, or excuse me, above 25%, then we look at the traffic count. I'm doing my usual good job of explaining things. Up until we hit 75%, and then it automatically would transfer to the city. So, as far as property adjacent to the road, less than 25%, we keep it. Above 75, it automatically goes to them, and in between there, it's dictated by who generates the traffic. And there's, best practices or whatever for how we would do that, but that would be to make, we would have a little discussion on where you put them and how you achieve that if the DOT didn't already have, assigned traffic counts. They do on some roads, I don't know if they do on all of them. So those are the two things. So they can't annex 50 feet and then run 8,000 cars through there, and we still gotta take care of it. And conversely, once it gets over 75, regardless of the traffic, it automatically transfers. The only thing that I had mentioned was that 25 and 75, and then Robin pointed out to me, when the arrangement's that way, it takes a little longer before it automatically goes to the city, say, versus a 40 or 60, but on the other end, it's a lot, longer before we would go to like the traffic count portion of it, so that's why we're at 25 and 75. The financial, part of it, as far as transferring money, is tied to whatever it costs you to do that work for, up to the county standard. And that's always gonna, like 10 years from now, that's gonna be a different number, right? So there's a comment in here that it's tied to, the previous year's costs or whatever to come up with that number, so. I must have had all my energy into the other stuff, I didn't have any left for this, but anyway, that's kinda where it's at. I recommend that we sign it. We've been wrestling through it, and I will concede that it's a little more cumbersome than maybe some other ways that you could get, you know, to the same place. This is kind of an issue, and I know the highway superintendents have sort of remobilized on the legislative side, and they're doing a lot of cleanup, with some other laws, but the rest of the superintendent's group does not like our law once it's put into action. You gotta have a little bit of communication and goodwill to use this agreement, I would say that, because if everybody wanted to stonewall and just dig your feet in and say we're going to court or whatever the hell, or to the DOT, you could. So, this has to have a little bit of cooperation, otherwise it won't work. Listen to me saying that, Robin. But in a lot of these other counties, this topic is gonna come up again, and it looks more like through the zoning, a few of the zoning laws as far as annexation goes, and, so, it's probably not the last time we've ever heard of it coming through the state, but I'm really comfortable with where we are now. And as near as I can tell, what's the termination of the agreement is 180 days. But that would also mean that your entire council or your entire commission would have to agree to terminate it, you know, or 3 out of 5 of you anyway. And I don't know how many people you have to deal with at your council, but divide it by 2 and add 1, and so, anyway.
It's a thoroughly beat to death
Oh, God.
agreement that provides a reasonable roadmap forward to try and figure out how to solve the situation when we get shared responsibility roads as responsibility changes with annexation.
If we don't figure out a way to cooperate, nothing will ever get done, so we might as well figure out a way to do it together, and we'll get there, so that's the way we're looking at it.
You bet. Well, it's been a while coming, and we've had a lot of conversations back and forth at multiple levels. You know, we took it to the legislature trying to fix it, and found out we weren't the only ones with this problem. Other counties and cities were having the same issues as annexation took place, so I think this is a very reasonable solution that we can work together and force a little more communication, and that's always good. So I want to thank both parties for working together and coming up with this agreement.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Thank you.
Second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you,
you.
Robin. Thank you,
Thank you
Stu.
for coming this morning.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yes, you as well. Department update, is that what's next?
Yep. That was easy.
Yeah. You beat it with a stick for 4 years, sure. Grind the road up twice and make everybody hate you.
Throw a little gravel on it.
There's a reason I'm not a politician. Get 1 vote. My wife wouldn't even vote for me, probably.
Depends on the day.
That's what she told me.
I would imagine.
No way.
Well, you guys kinda, first thing on my list here is the Sand Lake Bridge, but you're as up to speed on that as I am. Pretty happy with those numbers. Definitely something we can work with, so.
Couple, right?
Yep. Elm Lake Bridge, as I mentioned, they're gonna try one more formal bidding before we do something, try to put it in with another project or something, but, they talked with the DOT, and they're just gonna take another run at it. And, we bid it twice, just through the normal, the normal state bridge lettings, and haven't had a lot of success so far, obviously, but try it again. I mean, seems like the atmosphere is loosening up a little bit, maybe, with some of the prices. And they told me that at the state, too. They seem to be getting a few more bids on some things. So hopefully, we get things twisted around. Our paving project up there, we shot oil, and then it rained for 4 days. So, take off the topsoil or shoot some oil, and it'll rain. So we're just taking that day by day, but they're up there and going. We patched for 2 days, and I'm blaming everything on the rain, but that's why we haven't got down to 14 yet. We're still working on it, but as soon as they're patching, they'll go down there. Believe it or not, the Richmond guardrail starts today, allegedly. Before I walked in here, I got a phone call, and they said they're starting today out there, so. What that entails on a day like today, I'm not sure, but they're here.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's 13.
Free beer tomorrow, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's on the west bridge out there.
My, we're driving over that bridge the other day, my wife's like, they should really put some guardrails up, like, we're working on it.
Yeah.
You can tell her how quickly you solved that.
Yeah, look at this.
No, they got right on that.
Look at this.
She keeps bugging me about the township roads, and I'm like, you gotta
Yeah.
talk to somebody
Yeah,
else.
good luck with that. Patching our mail. Oh, and then, they're still working on the design for the turn lane, 13 and 14. I have no clue as to like, if we'll get that. I hope we get a bid this year yet, but that sort of got, you know, we sort of threw that on the pile. So we'll just see how quickly it gets done. And the same thing with the railroad tracks on 13 that are so rough. We're gonna package the two of those into one project. Probably be concrete, and, but they're moving forward on it. I don't have any timelines or anything, but still in design.
You're talking about 14, the railroad tracks by AGP?
Yeah, yep.
I got actually a complaint about that, the lines on the road, when it rains and it's dark, you cannot
Can't
see
see
those
them.
lines.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's kind of part of that, but.
Yeah, I don't know last time we striped that either. Could be a while. That's it, unless you guys have any fun stuff.
Just to follow up on 14, you know, going south, what's, any changes to the plan there, or what are we looking?
Well, we're gonna,
Looking at there.
gotta patch it first, and then that'll be the immediate thing.
Because the potholes are pretty bad,
Yeah, yeah.
which you know.
No, well, I know, and honestly, if I say this, everybody shudders, but if they, a lot of times the people want the holes right now, that you gotta go mill the road up. And I'm not opposed to doing that, but nobody else really likes that very much.
No.
So, I mean, there's gotta be a little balance there when, because sometimes we just don't have the material available, or, but yeah, it's bad. Okay, so your bigger picture question is, right now, they're looking at that, we're gonna do a hot in-place recycle on it, if it's okay with you guys, but I don't have enough information to come in and pitch it yet.
We
Mike-
discussed that briefly.
Yes,
here.
yeah, I had them look at it, 'cause I don't, that's a process that I don't know enough about what the road looks like to be a candidate. So I had some other guys look at it, not the entire, it's like 7 out of the 9 miles will work. The other 2 will mill them up and just repave them ourselves. And I moved that all into next year, provided y'all fund the budget, so I'll just turn this back on you somehow.
Sure.
But, 14 and 16 are 2 that I'm hoping we do a hot in place on 14 and a cold in place on 16.
Okay.
And that just has to do with the state of the road now and how much material's present. Well, kinda tells you which process will work better. And they're cheaper than milling it, completely milling it up and just paving over it. So I've been trying to see if we can find things that, you know, those kinds of things will work for.
The only other stretch is, I stopped out yesterday and visited with you, the stretch coming east from 281 into Warner.
Oh, yeah.
It has some concerns with how rough that is,
And
so.
that's another one, as a matter of fact, that might be on one of the old maps. That's one that we meant to do a couple times, and then it got pulled off, I think, when we paved down there to 10, but
Sure.
that mile needs it too, and it's out of cycle with everything else. It's just 1 mile that's not.
Yeah. Part of a bigger project. It's the only other concern that I've been approached by.
And like he said the other day, Dwayne, you know, originally we were waiting for that bridge. I thought that bridge would be falling below legal loads, and until it does and is eligible for money, I mean, we can, you know,
Yeah.
we can pay $3 million for a new one or wait and run through the program, you know,
Yeah.
so.
When you guys, you knew I was gonna say something.
Yeah, I can
What-
tell.
When you guys are striping, don't forget to do 14 up kind of by Frederick, right just south of 5 by Heine's.
Oh, yeah.
Just with the water on both sides. I have had someone say it's kind of scary when you're going over that, you know, when it's foggy, so. Not a big project, but good for safety to get that done at some point.
Yeah, I haven't got a hold of we usually do 100 or 50 miles of striping that isn't tied into the projects. Like all our projects we do, put as much striping in them as we can, and then, we usually bring them in for, I don't know, 40, 50 other miles, we'll have them come. But I'll get it on there.
Okay. Former Commissioner Fike, or,
Oh, God.
Feldheim. Dennis Feldheim, you happy with 10 in front of your house? Everything good?
Oh, that's just great, I don't have any more
How's the
metal in
dust?
it, no more rebarb in it, it's all gone.
How's the dust?
Terrible.
Manageable today.
But today it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dirk.
You bet. And we'll discuss what you had brought up earlier.
And I'd been on that road when it was dry, and it was terrible when it was dry, so I can only imagine.
All right. All right, we will move on. Lynn, you are up. Discuss software purchase.
Yep, I have it in the packet. There's, two of them that I would like to purchase through Tyler, which is our financial software. There's the project accounting and grants management. And it would basically, we'd be able to tie, every time we submit a voucher or any payroll even, we could have it tied to that grant or project. So when it comes to the end of the year and you guys want to know what was involved with that project, I'm able to print a simple report instead of having to go line by line and pulling out what was spent on certain things. So, I had the quote in there as well for you guys. For the two, total is $7,538.
Every year.
Yes. And then, the one-time fee would be $11,848 for the implement, but after that, it would be the $7,538.
That's basically, you said it's like accounting software?
Yep. Ties into what we've already got, but it's just, then I would go in like with, like Kelsey's grants, I can just put in what their code is for, each grant, and it would just, when you enter that invoice, it ties it, pulls it into that project. So,
It's $7,000 a year?
yeah. Because you have two different programs, you have the grant side and then you have the project
Yeah,
side.
yeah, one for 5 and one for...
Two.
QuickBooks doesn't have like a $19.95 a month kind of deal, or?
Well, it's tied with our software that we already
I'm just-
have.
I'm just
so.
kidding.
So, yeah.
$7,000 seems awful steep, though.
Anyway, at least we can.
Cost of convenience, I guess, availability of information.
I'd like to look at it a little closer. I'd move to defer it for a week if you don't mind.
Okay, we have a motion to defer decision on the software purchase for a week.
Second.
Second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll revisit it in a week.
Not that I don't want you to have the tool, but that's pretty significant amount of money for every year, over and over again for...
Are there other systems?
Doesn't hurt to think about it for a week.
I know it, this one ties with the current one, but
Hell of a lot of money for...
is there like a whole new software that would be somewhat different, maybe a little more competitive on pricing?
We'd have to go with a whole new software, and with all the changes now that the treasurer's office is already dealing with.
Okay, we'll talk about it again next week, do a little homework and research between now and then. Moving on to the consent calendar.
Okay, approval of the general meeting minutes for May 13th.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreement.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lottery permit.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Other business?
Any other business? Morning, Rachel.
Morning. This is all open. I don't know if we need to do anything on it, or if you want me to go get... Yeah. line Holem Expo. You guys, we put a significant number into the roof last year, and so we know we're in it for the long haul, and this is a building that we couldn't replace, you know, and nor would we want to. So the next piece is the sprinkler system. From January 1st until March 1st, we had about 5 service calls costing us specific numbers. It was over $10,000 to repair the different breaks in the system. 10,584 service, 5 service calls. So I think it's just time, rather than keep putting good money after bad, is to just replace that sprinkler system. We've had a relationship with Western Fire for a number of years. The original system is still in the building. I have reached out to anyone that I know, as far as companies go, that does this type of work. It is pretty specialized. So I did find 4 last fall when I started researching it. The other 3 are out of Fargo and Sioux Falls, and now one of them I can't get a hold of anymore, so I think they may went out of business. But the quote before you is the only one that I know of that can get it done before the fair. It's not essential that we get it done before the fair, however, I just hate putting these repairs back into it. And so I believe if we're under 50 and it's specialized like this, that we can just do it. But if you want to wait, I can try to get some more quotes. It's just this is the only company that I know that will do it before the fair. And I kind of would like to have it before we turn it over to hockey. It gets hard to do those main valves up top once the rink is in. And once the fair is done, we go straight from the suicide prevention event to the paw sale to there's a lot going on there after the fair. So really, that June, July timeframe is the perfect time if we decide to do it, to get it done.
And you're moderately confident that this probably would be the low bid?
I am, especially when you look at that other,
Yeah, the 53,000.
They must be in the ballpark, because the other quote that I got is right there too. It's a little higher, but
That's
it's
close,
a
but
general.
it's still definitely higher.
Yeah.
You just wanna replace the feed main?
No, the actual, unit will also be replaced. The one in the closet under the steps.
Yeah.
I think I
So
showed
that's
that
the
to you.
entire dry system, right, for
Yeah.
115?
Nope, it's the, some components of it will stay, because there have been parts of the feeds that have been replaced. The problem becomes the old ones are kind of bowed. I think you saw it when you were out there with that's the parts that will be, there are some areas that they wouldn't have to, because it is already fairly new within the last 3 to 5 years.
So we're looking at what price here then? Are you looking at
The other one.
The 54.
Yeah, the shape.
53.
Yeah, let's,
The other ones that I talked to have said they probably won't be able to get it done by August 1st, so.
Lynn, do you have any concerns based on bid laws and timing and?
Yeah, the only thing is, if we go, just the one, Rachel, you just need to get a letter stating that they are the only one that can do this for you.
Say that again.
You'd need to get a letter from them,
Okay,
and they'd have to state that they're the only one that is able to provide this for you.
in the time frame.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we just can we put the bid process out and say that it has to be done by the fair, or won't they? Is that not how that works?
You can.
And if they're the
Your
only one that
option.
bids it, then we did our due diligence.
And how far will that push it down the road, and can they still get it done?
They said it's about 3 weeks out for some of the components to get here, so it'd be tight, but if that's what you guys wanna do, I can put a RFP together, I guess. I wasn't sure, that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys. I think the nice piece of going with them is there's somebody right in town. Everybody else, when there's an issue, they're from Fargo or Sioux Falls, they gotta drive here.
Well, there's something to be said for having them close, obviously, and being able to guarantee that they'll have it done by the fair. Two pluses.
It's currently functional, right, like you're saying, the fair thing?
Correct.
So
The
they know we-
alarm system is not.
Until it's not.
Because we had talked,
Right.
about, I think, like, you've had to have that in there for 10 people down at the fair and stuff, right? Or we'd
That's-
have to have a fire marshal.
That's
or-
the alarm system, which is gonna be the next piece we're working on. There's two systems. The sprinkler is what we're talking about today. The fire alarm system went bad last week. So that panel that's shared between the OD and the Expo is not functioning right now. So that's where I'm working with Judy to see if that panel can be reused. She's got one in, that she was gonna use on a different project, and that'd be a significant piece of the cost, but that also needs to be replaced, because right now, we don't have a.
And that has to be done.
Yes, because, and we don't have any events planned right now, so it's, I mean, if it's gonna go bad, now's the time to do it, but we gotta get that up and going as soon as possible. So, we've got a gentleman working on the specs for that and the cost.
All right. What are your wishes? Approve the Western States, or put it out for...
The state statute's under 50,000, right? So since we're under that, and if she can get a letter, if it goes along, because it's not the other pieces that you have to have the letter, I mean...
Ross, legally, you're okay with that, or?
Well, there was an email, but I didn't know this was gonna be on here today, so I haven't looked into it.
Okay.
I'm okay with going with it, but I think it should be on the agenda and put it on next week for approval.
With it being quotes, I know other departments just go do it, so, but I wanted you guys to be in the know in
Right.
case it came back to you. I was just gonna go do it, but under 50.
We'll defer and put it on the agenda to make a decision next week. How's
Okay.
that?
So you want a letter stating they're the only ones that can do it in the time frame?
Full procurement.
Okay.
Right.
Anything else?
Because it's under the 50,000, which is right, but you know how things go, that
I
they
do.
sometimes end up being more than what they say, so
Yep.
that's my concern too.
Sure.
Okay?
All right.
We'll put it on the agenda again for next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks to you and to them
Rachel.
for getting us together.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Any other business come before the Brown County Commission? We've had a request to go into executive session for contract,
Move.
legal. Second. Motion by Weiss, second by Jingler. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, lights back on. We're back in session. Out of exec with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the commission today? Motion adjourned. Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.